Soul food restaurants are more than places to eat. They're living monuments to resilience, family, and culture. For over a century, these kitchens have served up more than just meals. They've fed freedom fighters, comforted communities, and preserved recipes passed down through generations. From tiny diners in the Arkansas Delta to legendary spots in Harlem, these 10 restaurants have survived segregation, economic hardship, and the test of time. Their stories are woven into the fabric of Black American life, and their food still tastes like home. Dooky Chase's started in 1941 as a small sandwich shop, but under the guidance of Chef Leah Chase, the queen of Creole cuisine, it became one of the first Black fine dining restaurants in America. Leah's gumbo was legendary, a rich, soul-stirring bowl, packed with seafood, chicken, and sausage that could make you cry with joy. Her fried chicken and red beans brought comfort, but her courage brought change. During the Civil Rights Movement, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Freedom Riders gathered upstairs, planning protests over plates of Leah's cooking. She fed the revolution, one meal at a time. The dining room was elegant, white tablecloths, black art on the walls, but it always felt like a big family dinner. You weren't just a customer, you were a guest in Leah's home. Generations of New Orleanians have memories tied to this place, spotting Ray Charles at a corner table, watching President Obama enjoy a bowl of gumbo, or simply sitting with grandparents who remembered when this restaurant was a beacon of hope in a divided city. Dooky Chase's isn't just a restaurant. It's a living monument to love, resistance, and Creole soul. In 1944, a shoeshine man named Lacey Wilson Sr. and his wife Bertha saved up their tips and bought a tiny two-stool diner in D.C. Nearly 80 years later, Florida Avenue Grill is still standing on that same corner, holding the title of the oldest soul food restaurant in the world. In the early days, Lacey fried 2 chickens at a time just to keep the lights on. That fried chicken became the heart of the menu. Crispy, golden, and unforgettable. Over time, the offerings grew. Fish and grits for breakfast, collard greens simmered low and slow, peach cobbler that tasted like Sunday at Grandma's house. The diner itself is narrow and no frills, a long formica counter, stools facing an open kitchen, walls plastered with autographed photos of everyone from cab drivers to Congress members. But what made it special wasn't the decor. It was the feeling. During segregation, this was a safe haven, a place where Black Washingtonians could sit down and be treated like family when the rest of the city turned them away. 3 generations have eaten here after church, sharing hot muffins and gravy-smothered chicken. It wasn't just food. It was home in a city that often wasn't. Since 1946, the Four-Way has been serving soul in Memphis's historic Soulsville neighborhood. Opened by Clint and Irene Cleaves, Clint was once a chauffeur for the city's mayor. It started as a little lunch counter attached to a pool hall and grew into a Memphis legend. The menu is full of Southern staples done right. Fried catfish sandwiches, crispy and hot with fries on the side, slow-stewed turnip greens, and fried green tomatoes that crunch with every bite. Back in the day, this place had an unexpected elegance for a Black establishment in the Jim Crow South. You rang a bell to be seated in a dining room with white tablecloths and uniformed waiters, a touch of class that made people feel seen and special. Today, the vibe is humble and timeless, with dated decor and walls full of old photos. But that's part of the charm. This was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s favorite spot in Memphis. He'd come in to relax, play pool in the back, and fill up on good food. His last meal came from the Four-Way. During the 1960s, civil rights marches were organized right in the dining room, and the owners stayed open late to feed tired protesters. Generations of Memphians proudly recall sharing booths with legends like B.B. King and Aretha Franklin. The Four-Way isn't just a restaurant, it's hallowed ground. Busy Bee Café opened in 1947 on West Hunter Street. Started by a self-taught cook named Mama Lucy Jackson. During the Civil Rights era, it sat just down the block from Paschal's. And together they fed both everyday folks and movement leaders. Mama Lucy's ham hocks were so good that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made it a point to order them regularly. Simmered until they fell off the bone, tender and flavorful, those ham hocks became legendary. But Busy Bee didn't stop there. The fried chicken is still called the best in Atlanta. Perfectly seasoned and crispy, served alongside collard greens and mac and cheese that haven't changed since the 40s. The cafe is tiny, always packed, with a line stretching out the door. Inside, people sit elbow to elbow, plates piled high with cornbread, greens, and sweet tea. The decor is frozen in time, and regulars love it that way. In the 1950s and 60s, Busy Bee was more than a cafe. It was a community hub. Dr. King and other leaders met and ate here, welcomed by Mama Lucy's open arms. Families who once saw Dr. King at a corner table brought their own children, years later, for Sunday soul food lunches. Even today, new generations visit, and the walls are covered with photos of VIP guests, from President Obama to sports and music stars, showing how this little cafe bridges past and present. Founded in 1947 by brothers James and Robert Paschal, Paschal started as a 30-seat luncheonette and grew into a full-scale motor hotel and restaurant, a symbol of Black entrepreneurship and hospitality in Atlanta. The signature dish? Fried chicken, made from Robert Paschal's secret recipe. A formula so iconic it's still used today and remains top secret. Alongside that, the menu served hearty, Creole-inspired soul food, gumbo, catfish etouffee, and all the comforting classics that fueled patrons through good times and bad. What began as a humble lunch counter transformed into a polished, welcoming space, a safe oasis for Black Atlantans. The staff often kept the lights on late, hosting strategy sessions and fellowship gatherings after hours. During segregation, it was one of the few places where Black dignitaries and locals could dine in style, served by courteous white-jacketed waiters with genuine Southern hospitality. But Paschal's wasn't just about good food and service. It was the unofficial headquarters of the civil rights movement in Atlanta. Icons like Andrew Young, John Lewis, Julian Bond, and Dr. King were regulars who turned the back room into a war room for freedom, sometimes meeting until 3 a.m. over coffee and fried chicken. Congressman John Lewis called Paschal's a haven where he could recover after arrests, death threats, and beatings. The Paschal brothers didn't just feed bodies, they nourished souls and courage during the movement's darkest hours. In 1962, a South Carolina native named Sylvia Woods bought the small luncheonette where she'd been working as a waitress, and over the next 60-plus years, she turned it into Harlem's most famous soul food destination. Known affectionately as the Queen of Harlem, Sylvia built her restaurant on love, family recipes, and a commitment to making everyone feel at home. The standout dish: chicken and waffles. Crispy fried chicken seasoned with Mrs. Woods' secret blend, paired with a fluffy waffle. It's so popular that the kitchen can barely keep up. They cannot fry the chicken fast enough. Her barbecued ribs, smothered pork chops, and legendary mac and cheese are equally beloved, all cooked from original family recipes that haven't changed. Walking into Sylvia's feels like stepping into a loving relative's kitchen. The dining room buzzes with energy. Locals and tourists alike enjoy hearty portions, while live gospel, or R&B, fills the air on weekends. It's vibrant, familial, and uplifting. Over the years, Sylvia's has been the backdrop for countless birthdays, Sunday after church dinners, and family reunions. A who's who of guests has dined here: Whoopi Goldberg, Muhammad Ali, Nelson Mandela, Beyoncé, the Clintons, President Obama, and many more. Despite Harlem's rapid changes, Sylvia's remains an anchor of Black culture, still run by her children and grandchildren, preserving the same flavors and welcoming spirit. For many, it's a living connection between past, present, and future, served up one plate at a time. Ben's Chili Bowl has been a U Street fixture since 1958, when newlyweds Ben and Virginia Ali opened their doors in the heart of what was then known as Black Broadway. More than 65 years later, it's not just a restaurant. It's a Washington landmark and a piece of living history. The signature dish is the chili half-smoke, a DC classic. A grilled half-smoked sausage on a warm bun, piled with mustard, diced onions, and Ben's spicy homemade chili. It's messy, delicious, and beloved by everyone from cab drivers to presidents. Walking into Ben's is like stepping back in time. The original Formica counter and swivel stools are still there, and the walls are covered with decades of photos showing famous visitors enjoying a bite. Neon signs glow, old jukebox tunes play, and the warmth of yesteryear fills the air. Whether you're a regular or a first-timer, you instantly feel the nostalgic vibe that's made Ben's a constant through all of DC's changes. But Ben's history runs deeper than chili dogs. In April 1968, after Dr. King's assassination, the city erupted in riots and a strict curfew was imposed. Activist Stokely Carmichael got special permission for Ben's to stay open so they could serve food and offer shelter to volunteers and first responders working to restore peace. That selfless act cemented Ben's as more than a restaurant. It was a community lifeline. Since then, generations have celebrated first dates, post-game victories, and late-night cravings here. Even President Obama famously stopped in for a chili dog before his inauguration, linking a new chapter of history to this beloved spot. This is it. Opened in 1959 in Houston's Fourth Ward, founded by Frank and Mattie Jones as a family-run haven for Southern home cooking. For 66 years, it operated in the historically Black Third Ward, serving generations of Houstonians with recipes that never changed and didn't need to. The menu was packed with hearty classics: smothered pork chops dripping with gravy, fall-off-the-bone oxtails, simmered ham hocks, chitterlings, and seasoned black-eyed peas. If you craved a homemade Sunday dinner, this is it, was the answer. The atmosphere was cafeteria-style comfort. Customers lined up with trays, chatting with neighbors, while staff often greeted regulars by name and knew their favorite dishes. The dining room was unpretentious and homey, with photos of community leaders and family events lining the walls. The owners might step out to give you a hug, reinforcing the restaurant's role as a true neighborhood gathering spot. For Houston's Black community, this is it, was woven into the fabric of daily life. Generations remember after-church Sunday lunches, grandparents treating kids to fried chicken and cornbread, and families marking milestones over soulful plates. The family served with a spirit of giving, feeding not just stomachs but hearts through good times and hard. After 66 years, the original Third Ward location closed in 2025, but the story didn't end. A new outpost in Humble, TX, run by the next generation, ensures the soul in this soul food institution lives on. Opened in 1951 by Lois Davis and her husband Roland, Lois the Pie Queen might be the oldest Black-owned restaurant in California. It started in Berkeley, later moved to Oakland, and for over 70 years has been a pillar of the community, especially beloved for breakfast and desserts. The claim to fame: homemade pies. Lois's sweet potato pie and peach cobbler were so legendary that her husband named the restaurant in her honor. She learned those recipes from her mother, and they became treasured across generations. On the savory side, the menu is full of down-home favorites: braised short ribs, candied yams, black-eyed peas, and cornbread muffins, all cooked with the same love Lois put into her pies. The atmosphere is unpretentious, warm, and proudly old school. Customers affectionately called Lois Mom because she fostered such a familial environment. The dining room has vinyl booths and checkerboard floors, and the walls are packed with photos of African-American luminaries. One corner booth was always reserved for a young Kamala Harris when she came in with her family, a tradition Lois kept. It's the kind of place where regulars are greeted with hugs and newcomers are welcomed like long-lost friends. Now run by Lois's son and grandson, many customers are third or fourth generation themselves. Church groups remember flocking here after Sunday services in the 1960s for pie and coffee. Over the decades, everyone from neighborhood families to celebrities has found comfort at Lois the Pie Queen, a living scrapbook of Black Oakland's history, where every hearty breakfast and sweet slice carries stories from the past into the future. Tucked in a small Arkansas town, Jones Barbecue Diner has been feeding folks since the 1910s, making it America's oldest Black-owned restaurant. Run by the Jones family for over a century, this tiny cinder-block shack doesn't look like much from the outside, but what comes out of that kitchen is pure magic. The menu is simple: chopped pork barbecue on white bread, drenched in tangy vinegar sauce and topped with mustard slaw. That's it, and that's all it needs to be. Locals know to show up early, by 7 a.m., because once the meat's gone, it's gone. The walls inside are covered with old photographs and newspaper clippings, proof of a legacy that survived segregation, economic struggle, and even a fire. Sitting elbow to elbow with neighbors, you're not just eating barbecue, you're tasting history. Generations have lined up here, waiting for that sandwich that's been made the same way for over 100 years. It's a testament to resilience, family, and the kind of food that doesn't need to change because it was perfect from the start.